Matt Monsoor has been playing in one band or another throughout the La Crosse area for a number of years. For the last couple of years, he's gone solo. His live shows incorporate unique theatrics, a variety of instruments, and recent covers of Shel Silverstein set to music. You may also find him delving into photography, building furniture, and exploring animation and videography. I'm Amy, and he's Brent, and this is La Crosse Local.
My name's Matt Monsoor, and I was born in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I got into music when I was 19-ish. I moved out to LA. I had a cousin out there, Paul Skimp. He'd been living out there for quite a while, and he and his group of friends always have these little hoot nannies, and he was playing his tunes on his acoustic guitar back then, an old E28. And then he left for a while, and then he left his guitar back in LA. So then I started picking it up when he was gone, and that's when I started screwing around.
You've been playing in one form or another throughout the area for a number of years in different bands. You know, there seem to be breaks in between. For the last couple of years, you've been going, solo pretty regularly, all sorts of different instruments, but also using a looping pedal. Why did you go that route?
I don't know. The live shows are probably not my favorite thing to do. We're doing the solo thing more just because the older we're getting, the harder it is to I keep a band together is just logistically is really difficult. I think the older everyone's getting and where people are living and kids come into the thing. And I just wanted to start doing some more solo live stuff too, because I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a lot more fun when you're doing it with your buddies. Sometimes it's nice to kind of kick yourself in the ass a little bit and make you do things that you're uncomfortable with. Looking forward to live shows is, the anxiety, the post-anxiety is almost worse than the pre-anxiety now. So the looping thing is just so I don't really bore myself too. I get bored easily in watching a Chicky Poo or a Duty play for 45 minutes. Acoustic sometimes can get a little bit and I don't have the most uplifting songs. So the looping thing keeps people entertained to some degree. It's always something, whether you screw it up or not, I guess it's some form of entertainment. I saw John Bryan do it 1,000 years ago back in LA at this club called Largo. And before I even really knew how to play tunes and do anything. And I remember him working that loop and bouncing around all these instruments, and he blew my mind. So I guess that was where I saw oh. And then once you start doing it, once you see it on the other side of the game, it's not as magical, I guess, as it was back then. It gets a little repetitive now. I can't really write songs on a loop pedal.
It does add something to your live shows. Attending a number of your shows, it's not necessarily, you sit there and you carry on a conversation. Your shows are very quiet. It's almost like you have to pay attention, but then also they get very loud. And I see some components, even though it sounds like it's a terrifying experience for you. There's some theatrics to it in some capacity. You're incorporating the accordion into some of them. How did this get to that point? I mean, what are your influences? I can really see some theatrics behind it. What were some of your influences to develop a show like that?
Well, huge fan of Tom Waits, David Byrne, those shows, the stuff those guys do and their presentation it's a thing. Seeing Tom Waits play at the State Theater in Minneapolis, I remember I went with my cousin Jeffrey, and we had to sit in different seats because that was the way we got our tickets. And when Tom Waits came out, though, and he had his little sport coat on, and he had this little stomp box he was standing on with his sawdust, and he had glitter in his pocket and was striking poses and stomping on the box, and he got dusty by the end of it. And it was pretty cool. So, and David Byrne, that stuff he's doing now, I wish I would have seen him I think he played down in Madison. I missed his last go through Wisconsin, and that bummed me out. But we did get to see him in Italy, actually, which was kind of a random thing. Him and St. Vincent when they were doing their tour. So that was the one time I got to see David Byrne, and that was the same thing out there. It was pretty awesome.
You also seem to kind of mix it up with Shel Silverstein. It seems like you have an ongoing love for This guy releasing ongoing videos to go along with the covers. Is that you doing the animating? And like, what is the interest with Shel Silverstein?
I've always loved him to begin with, but his meter and the way he writes, and I needed words. I can come up with melodies, but I wish I could do that. I wish I could just rap. I wish I could really just sling away the words, but I can't. Shel provides me, like when I'm making loops up, he gives me something to read to create melodies, and usually it's kind of the same sort of meter, and it just works well, and it's light, and it's words you're probably never going to use. And animating, I like doing animation. I started getting into this 2D animation program and some graphic programs, and I get bored doing one thing, so I'll do this for a while, and then let's animate for a while. And that's how it works in that department, I guess.
Your interest in literature, a lot of your lyrics are political and touching on unfortunate common occurrences that are happening with different communities. What do you hope your audience gets out of these lyrics related to gun control and unjust murders and things like that?
It'd be really nice if you could change minds, but I guess going into writing songs, I don't know if I'm writing more for myself or for others. As any artist, I think you want to provoke some sort of an emotion or some sort of a different perspective or feeling or whatever it is. It feels good when it happens. Earlier writing days, it wasn't as much political, but these days it's you always got something to write about. It frustrates me, and so it's my one escape. I can blast it out in my basement and get a little sort of release of some sort.
I've seen some of your stuff on your social networks and website, related to you're doing photography, you build furniture, you create these videos, and you have your music. Is there anything else that you dabble in creatively?
Well, right now I'm making t-shirts. So I'm doing some screen printing right now. I thought I'd take my stimulus check and use it towards some t-shirts. I had a little reimagined design that I'm doing, and hopefully in the upcoming weeks here, start putting those around town. And then I'd like to put all the benefits back into the community in some sort of program. I guess I haven't figured out a road or an avenue yet. Trying to figure that out right now. Got 100 shirts ripped right now. It'd be nice to get rid of 200 of them. That'd be real swell. That's about it. I'm going to do a little casting idea right now too. Body casting, weird shit. I don't know. Stick it in my coffee table.
If people are interested, maybe following your music, maybe pick up one of these shirts, where can people find out more about you?
I have a website now, comfortablylostart.com, Facebook, Instagram, the norms. But the website's fairly new. It kind of came up within this last year. And so that's kind of has it all.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.